Live from iRacing's virtual Bark River International Raceway, welcome sim racing fans to round number 5 of the virtual off-road racing series Pro 4 Championship live on Racecraft TV. We're happy that all of you have chosen to spend your Wednesday evening here with us on Racecraft TV for what is expected to be one of the most exciting rounds of the campaign as we go to Bark River for the second time this season. I'm your host, Joshua Woolley. Alongside me in the commentary booth is Andrew Carlson. And Andrew, tonight, these drivers are in for a very, very big challenge, taking these Pro 4 trucks around a track like Bark River, 1.5 miles in length, one of the longer ones on the iRacing service. They're in for a bit of a treat tonight as they go racing around this rather historic off-road track as well.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of fast guys out there, and Bark River really lends itself to good. Excited to see this track develop, see these guys try to conquer this big, long 1.5 mile track and try to stay out some carnage. So it should be a good afternoon of racing.
And that carnage, like you mentioned, always seems to find its way here to Bark River. And taking a look at the schedule, where we have been and where we are going to go. Of course, we have been to Bark River once already. We've been to Crandon once already. And then our single stops to Wild West and Wild Horse Pass. That leads us to tonight here at Bark River. And then in 2 weeks' time, we'll be crowning a champion at the Crandon International Raceway to end out the Virtual Off-Road Racing Series' first ever Pro 4 Championship. Taking a look at where we are exactly in the world, well, this Bark River International Raceway, the newest short course track to be added to the iRacing service, been around for over 40 plus years and located in Bark River, Michigan, about 1.5 miles in length, about 2.4 kilometers for anybody watching from over the pond. And as we get ready to go racing tonight, the track length, Andrew, is going to be adamant when it comes to the lap counts. We're only going to go racing for 4 laps in the heats, 4 laps in 2 LCQs tonight. It is not 1, it is 2 LCQs that we will see, with the top 2 transferring in from each of those. And then we'll go racing in a 12-lap feature, and we'll cut that feature in half with a competition caution at lap 6. But Andrew, those lap counts, only 4 laps to get it done in the heat and the LCQ, with only 6 transfer spots in the heats and 2 in each of the LCQs. Not a lot of time for these drivers to get things done on the track.
Yeah, you know, it's really putting the pressure on them. That's going to be the issue, is keeping it clean enough to finish and not get spun out or in a pickle. But at the same time, with only 4 laps, you got to move through pretty quick and get to that top 2 in LCQ to move on.
So we'll take 16 to go into tonight's final feature race that we will see. And the feature race is where all the big points are up for grabs, and it is a tight one at the top of the leaderboard right now. You can see the top 5 all separated now by some odd about 18 points. They're separated by less than 20 there in the top 20. 146 for Josh Edmondson at the top. 2 points below is Keaton Swain. 2 points below Swain is Connor Berry. About 8 points below Connor Berry is Luke Knapp. About another 6 points back, Felix Roy. And then you even go back to Nicholas Dachelette. He is within about 50 some odd points of Josh Edmondson at the front as well. It is a lot of drivers vying for those top spots in the points championship, and we are going to be crowning a champion in 2 weeks' time when we go to Crandon. And Edmondson looking for that first virtual off-road racing series championship. He's been thwarted by Cam Peterson so many times when it comes to the pro trucks here on the iRacing service. He is going to be looking for that championship, but Swain, Barry, Knapp, Felix Roy, they still can all get that championship away, and they're going to be trying to do that in these last couple of rounds of the campaign here this season. Qualifying currently underway. Connor Berry is at the top of the timing sheet. Christopher Plumley currently sits second on the timing sheet, with Keaton Swain, Josh Edmondson, Luke Knapp the top 5. So the top 5 in qualifying looking relatively similar to the top 5 that we are currently seeing in the points championship, as we'll be getting ready to go racing. About 20 seconds left for these drivers to complete their laps in qualifying. They have 10 minutes of solo qualifying, a 10 lap maximum as well. There's no possible way they can reach that 10 lap maximum here in qualifying, however, so they can run as many laps as they want under that 10 minutes. And just like that, qualifying is going to wrap its way on up, and we're getting ready to take the green flag here for the first time tonight. Let's take a look at who's going to line up, or how they are going to line up, I should say, in heat number 1. So we get ready to go racing for the first time tonight. It is Connor Berry that is going to sit on the pole with Keaton Swain to his outside in second. Luke Knupp, Crystal King going to share that second row. Back from there, it'll be Tor Andre Borison and Brian Clement who sit on the top 6. Back from there, Luke Kraus, Vinnie McDonald on row 4, Franklin Monak and Scott Bryant on row 5. Rounding out the top 10, Bill Lester, Nathan Ramsey 11th and 12th, and that rounds out your field as they get ready to go racing here in the first heat of the night. Like we mentioned, Andrew, only 4 laps for these drivers to get anything done, so they need to be diligent about what they do on the racetrack. But you've mentioned the carnage that they're going to need to avoid on this first lap. That's going to be the most crucial because everybody's going to be bunched up, and the restart zone here at Bark River is a relatively long one compared to a lot of the other tracks that we see.
Yeah, you know, the top 6 have one plan, is just to stay in that top 6, and everybody else wants to be in that top 6. So, like you said, it's going to get crazy. There's a lot of trucks out here. There's a lot of tracks, a lot of corners. So, yeah, we'll have to see how this shakes out. We'll come round out their pace lap here, and it should be an interesting first lap with the fast guys out front, but we'll see how long they stay there.
Yeah, of course, we're only going to take the top 6, which will be half of this heat race. We're going to have I believe, a grand total of 12 drivers go racing in the second heat of the night and in the LCQ, both of the LCQs tonight. And we get ready to go racing. Pace truck is off. It is a bit of a long one before they officially get to the start-finish line, but they've hit the restart zone. They can race from here, and we are underway. Keaton Swain gives a shot to Connor Berry. Now going to have Luke Knupp taking a look to his outside. Door slam from Keaton Swain onto Connor Berry, as they haven't even taken the green flag yet. Now they'll officially take the green flag. We are officially racing here at Bark River, and it's Connor Berry who's going to get away to a great jump at the front to try and run away from the rest of the pack. But you look back from there, a lot of harsh landings as Keaton Swain takes second. Luke Knupp settles into third. Crystal King, Tor Andre Boris in the top 5, completely unchanged from when they began this race, and they all continue to race through now. They'll go under the pagoda for the first time. And Connor Berry trying to run away in this one, Andrew. Exactly the strategy he needs to have here in this heat if he wants a good starting spot. If he wins this heat, it'll be the pole for the feature race for Connor Berry. Exactly what he needs for the points. Get out in front, stay out of it, all the battles behind him. But here comes Keaton Swain. He's trying to say something about it.
You know, Connor had that outside on the starting line, and sometimes that's actually a better spot, you know, coming into this horseshoe turn they're in now. It sets you up for the inside. So he goes and wins this, he's going to be on the other side on the entrance. So like you said, he had a great first lap. He really checked out. He's been nailing it. So really tight exits on these corners, and not giving any room to get up by him, and you know, running a clean race. So that's the other thing too. There's been a lot of clean racing so far. You know, the pressure's coming on for Kraus and Clement in that transfer spot, being on the bubble. But these guys out front, you can tell that we're further in the season. These guys know how it goes. They know to keep it clean. They know that they gotta race smart to get into that final and to get maximum points in these races.
We take a look back to that current transfer spot, and currently held by Luke Kraus, who sits in that 6th spot. And we're going to go on board here with Luke Kraus, both in the sim and in real life in his own sim rig, as he currently races in that 6th spot, holds the transfer for the moment, and is trying to keep that up. Luke Kraus, of course, a driver from the iRacing Valley Cross World Championship in a couple of seasons, now trying to hold off Brian Clement as he races here in the virtual off-road racing series, and a solid gap in between the transfer spot and 7th place, as it's about 2 seconds separating Kraus and Clement. So, Andrew, at this point, Luke Krause just needs to be relatively clean and stay out of any incidents that happen in front of him, and he's going to be walking away with the transfer spot out of heat number 1. Brian Clement is going to have a lot of work to do, and maybe that's very difficult to do under green flag conditions in these off-road trucks.
Yeah, you know, these front 6 are super close in time. Brian ran a little bit slower lap than Luke's best, but even the top 6 are in a second, so they're all really moving. And like you said, with only 4 laps, everyone's hammered down, trying to run as the lap they can, stay out in this transfer spot. Yeah, these front couple guys are really close.
And it gets pretty difficult once those gaps grow to a certain point to really run anybody down, and we've seen it before in off-road trucks in real life and here. Once that gap gets to a certain point, it becomes very difficult to reel somebody in quickly, which is why we see the competition caution midway through the feature here in the virtual off-road racing series, and why we've seen it from the beginning of the series and we continue to see it now. It gets difficult once they get spread out to really get those gaps in, so all the drivers who were able to make passes on the opening lap did so well as Connor Berry takes the white flag. Keaton Swain's all sort of cattywampus as he's going to open the door just slightly for Luke Canup to try and make a move to the inside. Canup can't get there, so Canup's going to have to settle for P3 for the moment, and it'll still net him a spot in the heat race, or in the feature race, out of this heat number 1. All Canup needs to do is now finish, and he gets very sideways coming over that jump as he goes back to the inside of Swain looking for another move.
He's all over the back of him. See if he straightens him out, little tries to go underneath. He's only got 3 more corners to go. 2 rounds over the start line, and good news is these last couple corners are pretty tight. There's some opportunity to pass, so let's see what he does. Everyone's been running really clean so far, which, you know, compared to real life Pro 4 racing on this track, it's hard to do. It's hard to run clean, and especially in this section that they're in right now, it's so tight. And if you can get somebody out of their groove, you can really get underneath them. But yeah, so we got Connor Berry coming in for the win, Keaton Swain around in second, Luke Knupp in third. Great race by these front 3 for sure.
Luke Krause is going to walk away with that final transfer spot of P6. A little bit of a battle between Scott Bryant and Bill Lester a little bit further on back. But that'll be Scott Bryant walking away with P10 and that Shinento Shine machine. And Bill Lester going to finish in P11. And Nathan Ramsey going to be the last driver to work his way across the start-finish line. And your winner of heat number 1 is Connor Berry. He'll take Keaton Swain, Luke Canup, Crystal King, Tor Andre Borison, and Luke Krause with him into the feature race tonight. Brian Clement, Franklin Monak, Vinnie McDonald, and Scott Bryant round out the top 10. They will all be heading to the LCQ along with Bill Lester and Nathan Ramsey. Ready to go for heat number 2 when we take a look at your starting grid for said second heat. Christopher Plumley will start on the pole with Josh Edmondson to his outside, current points leader here in the virtual off-road racing series. Bodie Cryer, Nicholas Dashlet on row 2 with Cody Retzlaff and Zach Knowles, the top 6. Looking further back, Thomas Grady, Levi Metzinger, rounding out row number 4 with Miles Morse, Victor Aldrich rounding out the top 10, and rounding out all the 11 drivers who are ready to take the green flag will be James Watson in P11. So the field going to roll off, and we'll get ready to go racing here in the second heat of the night, and field getting ready to go racing behind the official iRacing pace truck. Like we mentioned, the restart zone relatively far away from the start-finish line. They're going to be hitting that throttle right out of this corner they're about to go through right as that pace truck pulls its way into the pit lane. Ready to go for heat number 2 tonight. And it's Josh Edmondson and Christopher Plumley who sit on the front row. Pace truck down and away. 11 trucks strong, ready to go racing here in heat number 2. Plumley is on the throttle, and we get back underway. Edmondson already going to take a small peek down to the inside, not going to be able to get there. Plumley going to hold on to that lead. and he will hold the lead as we officially take the green flag. Bodie Cryer gonna have to fight from third, but Edmondson is already all over the back bumper of Christopher Plumlee. It becomes a challenge, Andrew, with this heat. We know the top 6 are going to advance. It all comes down to how aggressive these front drivers are willing to be. How much does a heat win mean to them? Because ultimately all it means is a better starting spot for the feature. Edmondson's ready to go straight up for the lead with Plumlee.
Yeah, as you can see, Josh is pushing pretty hard there. I think, as you're saying it, he's going through that same thing in his mind. He wants this top spot in this heat, and especially being up in the front of the points, he wants to put his best foot forward for this final, to come out with as many points, make it as easy for him to win in the final as possible. So this is an important heat race for him. And like you said, Plumlee's running really clean. He had a really good start, kind of nailed it, jumped out to the front. And, if it's anything like this last race, this is to be, kind of what we're looking at. But it looks like Josh has some tricks up his sleeve. In that car in a little bit different spots, making some time up on Christopher. So see how interesting this gets, and see how clean they keep it.
And of course, a win here in the heat would net Josh Edmondson or Christopher Plumlee or Bodie Cryer for that matter. Anybody who wins this heat will net them a second place starting spot for that feature. So you're definitely right about that, Andrew. It will give them a much greater chance of walking away with the win in the feature. So Edmondson knows just how important that is. He's going to put the pressure on Christopher Plumlee there for P1. Driver feeling a bit of pressure here is the Canadian of Zach Knowles, who currently sits on that transfer spot of P6, trying to hold off Thomas Grady, who sits a relatively long ways behind him as well. Pretty much the same thing that we saw in heat number 1 here, Andrew, where the top 6 have pulled away from 7th place, 8th place, 9th place, and everyone else on down to the end of the field, as it's about a 1.3 second gap between Knowles and Grady. That's going to be very difficult for Grady to make up under green flag conditions, especially as we're getting ready to take 2 laps to go.
Yeah, this is really winding down. It's almost a repeat exactly of the first heat. A lot of these guys running almost the same lap times. Grady's on the bubble here. He's got to make one spot up and see if he can get in this final.
We'll see if Grady is going to be able to do that, or if he'll be racing out of the consolation here tonight. Continuing on as Christopher Plumlee and Josh Edmondson continue to fight for the top spot. 3/10 separating these two drivers at the head of this field. Metzinger and Aldrich have taken their off-road trucks into the pit lane. Believe they might have gotten into an incident. We'll see if we can grab a really quick replay of what happened here with Victor Aldrich, and I believe Levi Metzinger also get involved, and Aldrich just gets up on the curb and up and over onto their lid. That did not involve Metzinger, but that involved Victor Aldrich, and that sends Victor Aldrich off and into the pit lane to end this heat. Unfortunate to see. They'll have to go racing out of the LCQ tonight. Taking the white flag at the front of the field, however, it is Christopher Plumlee and Josh Edmondson as they continue to fight. Plumlee looking strong out here at the front of the field. It's going to take a bit of aggression for Josh Edmondson to get by Christopher Plumlee now, Andrew, as they both run really consistent lap times up at the front. Pretty even lap times, I should say, as well. Plumlee only a hair slower last time by than Josh Edmondson.
Yeah, and on top of that, the biggest thing is they're not making any mistakes. They'll only be in fractions of a second off of each other. They're both running clean lines, and it's going to stack up for a really interesting final. I have a feeling it'll be a little more banging with more on the line. But yeah, these guys are keeping it clean and running really, really fast laps. So I'm excited to see these two guys, and then Connor Berry and some of the other guys from the other heat, and Luke, and just to see how interesting this gets.
They'll be coming to the checker flag for this time by, and like you saw there, Andrew, Plumlee getting very up on 2 wheels there, hitting that inside curb, and what a run for Plumlee here in heat number 2. It's going to be a fairly easy walk-off heat victory for Christopher Plumlee. What a way to do it for the number 36. He'll be racing at the front of the field in the feature. And points leader Josh Edmondson not going to be starting too far behind as he comes home with P2.
Yeah, that was a great race, and you know, it's one thing to go and win, but to have Josh, the points leader, right on your tail the whole time, keeping you honest, even poking a nose inside you here and there. You know, he had his heart rate up a little bit there, but ran a clean race and came out on top. So Josh was only half second off of him, and then we had Drew Cryer in third, just over 3 seconds off. Nicholas coming up in fourth, Cody Redloff in fifth, Jack Knowles in sixth, Thomas Grady seventh, Miles Moores in eighth, James Watson ninth, Levi Metzinger in 10th.
Only one driver back from there, Victor Aldrich, who finished P11 down in the pit lane. We're ready to go for the single LCQ tonight. We were originally planning on having 2, but participation in the race server down a little bit more than what was projected. So we're only going to have 1 LCQ tonight, and a bit different. Top 4 are going to be advancing from this LCQ as opposed to 6 from the heat races. So we'll be cutting 2 drivers off of that transfer list. Brian Clement, Thomas Grady will start on the front row with Franklin Monak, Miles Morse, Vinnie McDonald, and James Watson, your top 6. Back from there, it'll be Scott Bryant, Levi Metzinger, Bill Lester, Victor Aldrich, and Nathan Ramsey that round out the 11 drivers who are ready to go racing here in the now only LCQ tonight. So what was originally expected to be multiple LCQs turns into 1, and a little bit less pressure for these drivers now, Andrew, as we go from only having 2 transfer spots to having 4, but going from having 6 in the heats to having 4 in the LCQ also is going to rack those nerves a little bit for these drivers.
Yeah, you know, they're still racing against fast guys. A few more spots, so if you end up having an issue and you're in the front, probably a little easier to stay in the hunt and make it. But if you're mid-pack and you have an issue, it's going to be a tough one. So there hasn't been a ton of passing because everyone's running really clean, fast laps. So we'll see what these 2 guys out front have for us, and see if this one's going to be carnage or if this one's going to be pretty clean.
We'll find out, and we'll take the top 4 from this LCQ. We are ready to go racing. Right after this, we'll have a 3-minute warm-up, then go racing for 12 laps tonight in the feature, but we're letting them loose here at Bark River for the last chance qualifier. They're already beating and banging back from there, and through the middle of the pack, already a couple of drivers beating on each other, as it looks like the 22 of Miles Morse got sent up the racetrack, but Brian Clement is going to get started at the front. He takes the green flag. Nathan Ramsey did not take to the grid, as they're all continuing to fight back from the front of the pack, as one driver sideways coming over that first jump, and already a good amount of damage, I believe, to Scott Bryant's machine. Yes, it is. Levi Metzinger is going to get turned around, and he'll fall all the way into the back of the field. P10, Bill Lester and Miles Morse are side by side for P5 as the top 4 try and run away in those transfer spots.
Yeah, this is getting real interesting. Especially these guys landing on each other, coming over the big jump. Man, a lot of carnage. How clean they can keep it here. This isn't even for a transfer spot either, so a lot of these guys don't want to be watching this race from their sim at home. They want to be in the final, so they're definitely throwing it all out there. See them underneath, put a nice slide job on them. This is the thing about Bark River. There's a lot of momentum you need to keep. So some of these over-under passes, you might get them in one corner, and then the next you're not going to have any entrance speed. So you either got to close the door or expect to get hit. So these guys are throwing it all out there. McConnell getting a little close to the wall there, coming through. He's sitting good in third. Onak behind him on the bowl. He's running a good line. So yeah, these front 4 seem to be safe and sound, but yeah, we'll see how close Morse can make this, and see if he can get in this final here.
Vinnie McDonald, Franklin Monak had a bit of a battle for P3. That moved McDonald up one more spot. to go too positive from where he began tonight's race. And now Monak is having a little bit of a gap in between himself and Miles Morse. There you can see Morse running in P5 in that number 22. Just trying to gain a little bit more positions on the drivers in front of him. And try and fight for a transfer spot. He needs to get by Franklin Monak if he wants an opportunity. And you can see him working his way through the final couple of corners here as drifts it through this long sweeping right-hander. We'll stay on board with Miles Morse as he goes through the tight left-hander, getting up on that berm a little bit, getting a little bit loose coming over those jumps. There's a couple more whoops left, and that completes the last sector here at Bark River. There's the start-finish line, and there's the hump turn number 1. That goes right back into the first sector here at the track. Brian Clement continues to lead the way, and a bit of a battle developing here at the front as Clement has Thomas Grady right behind him. The 43, the 535 are going to go battling with 3/10 in between them. White flag will be out this time by here in the LCQ.
Yeah, Grady keeping Clement honest out front. We've been seeing that the front two kind of check out, but keep each other honest. Grady all over him. See how rattled Clement can get here. They're obviously both going into the final if they finish like this, but these guys are racing. They want to be up front and coming underneath him, giving him a little body panel there. He's going to be on the outside here. See if he can cut under. Make this a pass. Clement's got a good line running through here. Doesn't look like Grady's going to be able to get him. But yeah, keeping it interesting. Maybe one lap from now we'll see that end a little differently. But yeah, this is turning into quite a race here. Man, getting a little wide on exit there. And they're flying back into this section. He's got a little bit of momentum on him coming in, setting up wide. See if he can get a run off the bottom here.
Side by side, just for the moment, as they continue to fight for the race lead. Clement has it. Grady gonna take another peek to the inside. They'll go side by side over the jump. Very cattywampus is Thomas Grady. He's able to save it. He almost just went end over end in the 535. That's gonna take him out of the lead fight, but at least he's not out of the top 4 and out of this LCQ. What a ride for Thomas Grady, as he'll fall a little bit back now into the clutches of Vinnie McDonald, but he's still within the top 4 transfer spots, and pretty thankfully, as that could have been a way worse outcome for the 535. But at the front, Brian Clement is looking to come home an LCQ race winner, and that's exactly what the 483 is going to do. Clement wins the LCQ with Thomas Grady coming home in second. Very, very thankfully for Thomas Grady that did not turn out worse. An incredible moment coming over that pagoda jump there. We'll take a look back at that jump here, Andrew. That was so close to being just a lost race there for Thomas Grady.
Yeah, he was pushing hard after Clement trying to get that win, and it they were both already in the final. So he's probably thanking his stars he didn't collect himself there or even take out the leader. But yeah, that was a close call for sure. He gathered that up.
Try to grab the replay, but as we go into the warm-up, doesn't look like we'll be able to grab that rather quickly. So we will take this opportunity to take a short break here on Racecraft TV, but don't go anywhere. We're coming back with action in the feature races. You're watching the virtual off-road racing series live on Racecraft TV. Stick with us for the feature.
This is our series.
So many different pieces that you have to watch out for.
Where the stakes are always higher.
$300,000.
Where virtual meets reality.
How bad do you want it? They're wasting no time getting at it.
Where the best thrive and the flawless win. This is the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series.
Welcome back to live coverage of the virtual off-road racing series. You're tuning into coverage on Racecraft TV of round number 5 from the virtual Bark River International Raceway. And we are ready to go racing in tonight's feature race. 16 drivers are ready to line up. Let's take a look at how exactly they are going to start on the grid tonight. On the pole, it'll be Connor Berry, who won heat number 1. Christopher Plumley, heat 2 winner, will sit to his outside. Keaton Swain, Josh Edmondson gonna share that second row, with Luke Knupp and Bodie Cryer sharing row 3. Looking further back from there, Crystal King will start to the inside of row 4. Nicholas Dashlet to the outside, with Tor Andre Borison and Cody Retzlaff rounding out the top 10. Luke Kraus, Zach Knowles gonna share the 6th row. And going through the rest of the field, it is Brian Clement and Thomas Grady, top 2 from the LCQ. And 3rd and 4th from the LCQ will sit 15th and 16th, as Vinnie McDonald and Franklin Monak are gonna round out the field. We are rolling off, getting ready to go racing. Andrew, any predictions as we get ready to go racing for the feature race tonight? All the cards are going to be on the table here.
Oh, I think those top 5 are going to be really close. Let's see how aggressive some of them get. Some of these guys in the points hunt are probably going to be trying to run a little cleaner, but normally some of these other guys got to make up a few more points in the points chase. They're just probably going for the win. So I think Connor Berry and Christopher Plumley are probably going to be tough to beat, just seeing especially that Keaton and Josh were behind him in the heat race and couldn't get by him. So we'll see here. I do like Connor's starting spot. I think he's probably got the best spot, but they're coming to green here. Let's see how they shake out coming in this first turn. Connor got a nice jump. Luke's looking like he's going to slot in the second right behind him, I think. Or maybe that's Keaton. But yeah, Luke and Connor getting a really good start coming in.
Connor Berry going to lead the field to the official green flag, and you can already see Edmondson loose in the middle of 2 trucks. On the outside of him, that looks to be Luke Knupp, and Crystal King was there as well. Bodie Cryer sends it in. He's going to get turned around. Drivers scatter. One driver's going to get thrown up into the air. So is Cryer, and it's a huge wreck out the front. Brian Clement was the driver that got thrown up and into the air, as Connor Berry is going to lead the way. Edmondson, that is not the start that he wanted. He's going to have to fight from 4th, but at the front, it's Berry, it's Swain, it's Plumley the top 3, as Swain's going to already try and go for that race lead. We go on board with Swain as he fights from P2, trying to catch up to the number 28, Jim Beaver Esports Machina. Connor Berry in front of him. Nicholas Dashlet toes it into the pit lane, and what a wild first lap as we get racing in the feature. Keaton Swain, Connor Berry, at the front, but what a coming together at the beginning for Brian Clement and Bodie Cryer. We'll take a quick look at the replay and see just exactly what happened here. This is coming through the first couple of corners, and Bodie Cryer just got sent around, and that sent Brian Clement up and into the air off of this incident as well.
Yeah, it looked like just behind Josh here, coming in, got a little crossed up on entry, clipped somebody in the air, and tried to make a pass here. Ended up getting turned around, and then it just got creamed.
Yeah, and there's Brian Clement up and into the air. Bodie Cryer got it from behind as well. He went flipping. Believe there was an incident between Nicholas Dachelet and Cody Retzlaff here. Dachelet already with damage. This actually might have been what we saw just at the bottom of the camera shot when we were trying to get that replay of Cryer and Clement. Bunch of damage to Nicholas Dachelet, and I believe he made some contact with Cody Retzlaff that sent Dachelet back, and oh, that's what happened to Dachelet. Just flipped it coming over the jump. He was a little bit too leaned when he went over that jump, the crest of it, and unfortunately, that is going to put Dachelet back and into the pit lane. He's back onto the racetrack now, but at the front, it is Connor Berry as the top five just about now all running about under a blanket, as the top five currently separated by about 2 seconds. So we put 2 laps behind us, go on to lap number 3. Remember, once we reach lap number 6, we will have a competition yellow. It will not be an iRacing called yellow. It is a gentleman's agreement from all of the drivers that they will all slow down on lap number 6 and have a manual competition caution. So we'll see that come into play at lap number 6. That will bunch the field right back on up. But right now, Connor Berry showing his might at the front of the field. And Andrew, this is not surprising for Connor Berry. We've seen a lot from him this season in terms of wins, but we have not seen him win a feature yet. He has won 3 heats this season, but has not been able to get it done in the feature. He's got the truck to beat out here tonight.
Yeah, you know, he, like you said, he's had some success in the heat races. Finally putting it together in one of these bigger ones. He's looking really strong. He's had a great heat race. And, you know, he's just showing that he's doing the same thing. That first lap, things got a little tight. And, you know, he got a good start, jumped out early, and now he's running pretty clean, consistent. So if he can get this, he can get his team on the board as one of the winners. He's sitting third in points, only 4 back from Josh coming into this weekend. So yeah, he's you know, looking like he's going to make up some good points, and yeah, he's looking awesome out there.
Keaton Swain still dealing with Christopher Plumley, who currently sits behind him, trying to hold on to that second spot is Keaton Swain. And Swain's another one of the drivers who has had some good success this season. 1 feature race win from here at Bark River at the beginning of the season. So we can see if he can go back-to-back when it comes to feature race wins here at Bark River. But right now, he's got to try and beat Connor Berry as we go on to the final lap before the competition yellow. End of lap number 5 is when everybody will start slowing it down. But Josh Edmondson running here in 4th. I know this is not what Edmondson wants, but Plumley's going to go way wide there for a moment. Plumley makes contact with Knupp as well, and Plumley, one mistake just led to Edmondson and Knupp going on by for 3rd and 4th. Goes to show how easy it is to lose out on positions when you make one simple mistake when it comes to off-road racing, Andrew. Here comes Plumley right back to the inside of Knupp after he makes a mistake coming over that jump.
Yeah, you know, these guys are running so close. If you make one mistake like that, you open the door. You just get freight trained by 2 guys. So, yeah, he's still in the fight, but yeah, he made it harder on himself. Luke and Josh were right behind him, and yeah, now Josh up into 3rd. He's just waiting for the guys in front to do the same thing. You know, these guys running this close. It doesn't take a full mistake. It just takes you missing your line, maybe a couple car widths, and then they can get a spot on you. So
Very easy to lose positions here, especially when you talk about the level of fields here in the Virtual Off-Road Racing Series. Connor Berry just hit the wall coming through the final corner, and here comes Keaton Swain. One mistake from your race leader is going to move Keaton Swain now into the race lead as the competition yellow gets called, and we slow the field down. Unbelievable. Connor Berry just taps the inside wall coming through one of the final corners, and now Connor Berry is going to lose out on the race lead. Let's take a look at that replay. We were talking about simple mistakes, and Connor Berry makes one there. You can see the damage to the front end, and we'll go back a little bit further and go on board with Connor Berry. But that is exactly what he did not need here. Andrew just got a little bit too far to the inside. Bam, there it is. And he's going to be restarting from, I believe, P2 now on this restart.
He got really lucky. He wasn't a few inches further left, or he would have spun him around for sure, and then could have collected more guys in the field. For him to be sitting second, it sucks, but he also got pretty lucky.
We'll be getting ready to go back to racing here. Remember, this is a manual competition caution, so everybody mutually slows down, lets the field get back condensed, and then they'll be sending them back and going green once again as we get ready to send them loose here for the last couple of laps here. We'll be going green with 6 laps to go. Who is going to walk away with the win?
Good news for Connor here is he's got the fastest lap of the race by a few tenths. So he's running quicker laps than Keaton is by a little bit. So it's going to make this race super interesting. See what kind of pressure he can put on Keaton, and see what kind of composure Keaton can keep here.
And important to note as well, Andrew, that even though Connor Berry has been the fastest truck of the race, he has not had to fight in traffic at all today. He started at the front of his heat, won the heat, and has started the front of the feature and led every single lap of the feature up until this point. Green flag is going to come back out on the racetrack. Keaton Swain leads the way. Berry's going to have to fight from second. What is his Jim Beaver Esports teammate Josh Edmondson going to do as he tries to fight from P3? They take the green flag, 6 to go, and Keaton Swain leads the way. Connor Berry trying to fight from second for the first time. Berry's going to have to fight with another driver. How is this one going to go? You're on board with Connor Berry as he tries to catch up to new race leader Keaton Swain.
It looks like Josh is behind him too, running a little bit different laps. Lines throwing in a little early, trying to exit underneath these guys in case they collect each other. Smart move. He's trying to, obviously he'll run his teammate Connor pretty clean, but as you saw, it doesn't take much. You clip one corner entry, or these two get into each other one little bit, and this could be Josh's race for sure.
You can see Edmondson is not too far behind these drivers here at the front. Canup is also in this mix. You can add Christopher Plumley and maybe even Crystal King. How about her performance tonight? One of her best races of the season is she sits in P6 at the moment, looking for a couple more spots as Plumley sits in front of her. Canup, Edmondson, Berry, and Swain, the current top 5. As they'll go to 5 laps to go here in the feature. Clement and Cryer are the only 2 out of this race. Everybody else still on the racetrack. Keaton Swain looking for feature race win number 2 of the season. First one came in the opening round this season here at Virtual Bark River. He's looking to sweep the Bark River races this season. Josh Edmondson looking for feature race win number 3. Connor Berry looking for feature race win number 1 of the season. And Luke Canup gonna look for feature race win number 2. As Connor Berry still trying to put the pressure on Keaton Swain, but a perfect couple of laps here from the 21, Andrew, making it very difficult for Berry to work his way around.
Yeah, he turned in a really clean race. They're getting into each other as they're coming up to the start line here. Connor running, making a run inside. If he can straighten this thing out, oh man, Josh needs to get up here in case there's a a little mishap by these two so we can capitalize on this, but it's really turning into quite the race. Looks like Swain pulling a little bit away from him. Connor's changed his lineup in there. It's not quite so tight as he was when he clipped that wall. Make a little correction. But yeah, these guys, if they get real close, then they kind of sort themselves back out again. So we got 4 laps to go now, and guys are running pretty clean laps.
Swain out in front. Last time by, Connor Berry was only faster by a little over 1/10. Last time by as well, Josh Edmondson was a little slower by about 1/10.5 over Connor Berry in front of him, and by about 1/10 over Keaton Swain. So Edmondson trying to fight from third, not exactly running the lap times that he needs to. Certainly feeling that pressure from Knupp and Plumlee behind him. But at the front, Swain and Berry continuing to be the top dogs as Berry goes to the inside. He makes contact with Swain as they continue to fight. Over the jump they go. Berry's going to go side by side. They touch doors once again. Going through the right-hander, advantage to Swain. Can he keep the momentum going on the bottom? No, he can't. And what an outside line pass for Jim Beaver Esports and Connor Berry right back to the front. Fastest truck here tonight, and he is showing that he is the one to beat as he powers around the outside to get the spot on Keaton Swain. Unbelievable scenes here at Virtual Bark River, and just like that, when we thought he was down and out, Connor Berry's right back up to the front, and now Keaton Swain's gonna have to worry about Josh Edmondson, who's caught back up to these top 2, but Swain's not done with the challenge for Connor Berry.
Yeah, that was a slick move by Connor there. Really just putting his truck in the right spot, and it's being patient. So we'll see what these last 2.5 laps have to hold here. Doesn't look like Swain's backing down. He's got the charge coming on Connor, and he's making up some room on some of these entrances of the corners. But Connor took up, he's carrying momentum and running the bottom in a lot of these corners. So there's not a lot of room for Keaton to make an advance on him, and we'll see how many body panels these guys have in this next couple of laps. I have a feeling there's going to be a little bit more rubber.
Well, Connor Berry already lost. As you can take a look at the front left of that truck, he's already lost a bit of body work to that CBR Jim Beaver Esports number 28. But he's going to try and hold the lead over Keaton Swain. 2 to go. And only 2 laps left to settle the score here at the front. Swain, a little bit of a wheelie coming over that first initial jump out of turn number 1. He's trying to put the pressure on Connor Berry. Edmondson's trying to put the pressure on Swain. You can see them as they've spread a little bit out. It becomes difficult to get that momentum on the inside of these race trucks. And now Edmondson is going to have to try and reset, regroup from that 3rd spot. And they'll be coming to the white flag this time by. Looking like a great run for Connor Berry. We transfer a little bit further back as it looks like Luke Kraus is in an incident. He is upside down on the racetrack. Let's find out what happened to Luke Kraus here at Virtual Bark River. He ended up on his lid. Let's see why. And it looks like he got onto the inside curb just a little bit there, Andrew, and that was all it took to flip Luke Kraus up and over onto his lid.
Yeah, we saw a crash there, and it was the LCQ or maybe one of the heat races. A spot. Everyone's getting a little greedy close to the grass there. It is a blind jump coming in, and that's a bummer for him.
White flag out and in the air for Connor Berry. Looking for feature race win number 1. His first winless event was at round number 4 2 weeks ago at Wild Horse Pass. That was the first time this season that he has not walked away with a heat or an LCQ win. He is still winless in the feature race this season. 3 heat wins in the first 3 rounds of the campaign, and is now on track to get his first feature race win of the Pro 4 Championship. Berry's been around E-Short Course for many years, competed in many Jim Beaver E-Short Course events, and is looking to win his first race in the Pro 4s for Virtual Off-Road Racing Series. We've had 3 unique winners this season, Swain, Edmondson, and Knupp. They're going to finish 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. It's a new face at the front of the field and at the top of the podium here in the virtual off-road racing series Pro 4 Championship. Through the final couple of corners and across the start-finish line, Connor Berry takes the win for Jim Beaver Esports.
And he had to work for that one too. He made it hard on himself. Missing that one corner, messing up, but he fought for it back. Hats off to Connor. He ran a really good race, and probably the most impressive part of that whole race was that pass that he had on Keaton coming into the infield section. That was pretty cool to see, and it's awesome. There weren't many passes. The one that we did see was for the lead, so pretty awesome racing.
So Connor Berry walks away with the win. Keaton Swain, Josh Edmondson, the top three. We'll be talking to them here post-race as Luke Knupp and Christopher Plumley round out the top five. Crystal King, Tor Andre Borison, Zach Knowles, Thomas Grady, and Cody Retzlaff, the top 10. Looking at the bottom 6 spots as we went racing with 16 drivers here in the feature. Nicholas Dashlet with Franklin Monak, Vinnie McDonald, Luke Kraus, Bodie Cryer, and Brian Clement round out all the drivers who took the green flag tonight. And we are already going to get started with the post-race festivities and speak to your race winner. He joins us now here in the broadcast booth. It is Connor Berry. Connor, congratulations. Your first feature race win of the season. I know this has got to feel good for both you and the team.
For sure. It's taken me all year long and to finally get the win. It is for sure good. I definitely put myself in a pretty good situation between practice, qualifying, and then the win in the heat. Then the main event, I was good. Then I just the wall got me, and that put me back to second. And my truck was just done. So for me to come back to first is really awesome. And shows that I don't just have speed, but I also have consistency.
And of course, this is going to do relatively well for you here in the point standings as well. How does this feel now, knowing how you're running for a championship, and in 2 weeks' time, we go to Crandon, you're going to be crowning a champion there, and you're going to be one step closer to hoisting that cup at the end of the season?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that is our goal. Just got to keep our game on and just make sure that we are fast and we are ready for it. Crandon, it's a very fast track, so everyone is actually about the same. So I think there may be some doors, but if I can just have the speed like today to where I can just be in first and just be pulling away. That's what I hope to do.
And of course, going into Crandon, where's your confidence level at as we go into that track? Because it seems to be one of the driver favorites when it comes to the iRacing service. Are you confident with the product that you're going to bring to Crandon and run for a championship with?
Oh yeah, we just did a league race there last week, and I got first against all of these guys. So I know I have the speed. Just gotta keep it going and don't have mistakes.
Well, we're ready to see what you can do in that championship in 2 weeks' time. Connor, thank you so much for joining us here post-race in the commentary booth of Racecraft TV. Who makes it all possible for you? Who do you have to give a shout-out to here tonight?
I want to give a huge thanks to Jim Beaver Esports. The team is just awesome, and we put in tons and tons of time, especially into these trucks, and we just went 1 and 3. So it's for sure awesome. I also want to thank General Tire, Razor, Vision Wheel, Next Level Racing, and CBR, and Josh Fortis League, and you guys for the stream.
Thank you very much for joining us once again here in the broadcast booth. That is Connor Berry, your winner tonight in the feature from Virtual Bark River. We continue with the post-race festivities by speaking to Keaton Swain, who is now standing by with Andrew Carlson.
Hey, Keaton, you had a great race out there. You capitalized on a little mistake. that Connor had, but at the end, it was a fun race to watch. You guys made it really interesting. How did it go from your perspective?
Yeah, it was good. Connor Baby was real good at the whole race. He's been fast, or getting faster, and he's really been putting in that time, and it paid off for him. So it was a good race for me. He made a mistake, like you said, coming to the mandatory, and I got by him, but his truck was just so much faster, and he got back by. But overall, to end up P2 against a stack field like that, I'm happy with it.
Yeah, that's awesome to see. It looked like you guys were so close. It looked like it was going to come down to whoever capitalized on some of these very small mistakes. It looked like you're really comfortable on this track. You weren't getting pulled by anybody anywhere in particular. And, is this one of your favorite tracks to race at on iRacing?
Yeah, for sure. Between here and Crandon, it's those are my two favorite tracks. But like you said, we had good speed. Just made a couple mistakes through the whoops there. Let Connor get to my inside, and then he was able to make the pass. But overall, it was a good race. I just can't thank everyone that helps me out enough. Plants Parts Company, Factory SimSport, SimCoach Pedals, ZK Designs for the paint, and Team 12 Rotations, and everyone that helps the series, and you guys for doing the broadcast. Appreciate it.
Thank you. We're coming down. We got one more race left in this championship. There's 4 different winners. You've been one of them. The only guy that have 2 of them is Josh. How do you feel coming into Crandon, coming in with a good fight for this championship? Only coming in this weekend 2 points behind Josh and finishing second. It was a good showing. How do you feel coming into Crandon? Yeah,
for sure. We're feeling good. As long as we just stay out of trouble, get through turn 1. It's just going to come down to who can make the least amount of mistakes. Josh has been on it. Connor's been on it. So has Luke and Plumley. So all these guys are fast. Just going to, come down to being smooth and not getting in too much trouble out there.
Awesome. Well, nice running out there, Keaton.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Good to hear from your second place finisher tonight, Keaton Swain. We round out our post-race interviews with Josh Edmondson as he joins us now in the broadcast booth. Josh, not the race I think that you were really looking for out there on the track, but still a third place finish, still good for the points. How did it feel from your perspective down there in the track?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I struggled in qualifying to get a time in. I got a decent one in right at the end. That was it was tough to start behind Plum in that heat race. I just couldn't find a way around him. So then starting in the second row and getting almost overtaken by a couple of people right off the bat, that was tough. And yeah, I was just actually happy to come away with a third. I didn't know if I was going to be able to get back up there. So actually, yeah, all in all, I'm pretty happy with a third here.
And going in, of course, to Crandon 2 weeks' time, you're in the running for that championship. Going in, of course, knowing this is going to be your first run at a championship in the Pro 2s, it has been Cam Peterson dominated really since the start. So you're going in with an opportunity at your first championship. Are you feeling any added pressure? Or are you just going to take Crandon as any other racetrack or any other race that we've had this season?
No, there's a little pressure on it. I did bring that Pro 2 championship down to the last round with Cam, but yeah, he only had to finish like 5th or something to clinch it if I won. This one though is I think it's Keaton and Connor and I are all tied or really close to, so it might be who does the best out of us that wins this championship, which is pretty cool. It's going to be really hard to do, but I think I have a good chance at it. Won there the last time we went, so hopefully I can repeat.
And going into Crandon, we've heard Connor Berry having a bit of confidence in what he's bringing. What say you in the Jim Beaver Esports operation in that number 58? Are you confident with what you're going to bring to Crandon and try and put to the rest of these championship competitors?
Yeah, for sure. We've been testing together and finding some stuff, and we run a little bit different setup, and he's got his dialed in right now for his driving style. Connor's, as you saw tonight, he's going really fast, so I need to pick up on a couple things maybe and get a little more pace, but I think we can go 1-2 there and hopefully finish in the championship 1-2 as well.
Well, we're certainly excited to see what you're going to do in the championship. Josh, thank you for joining us here in the broadcast booth at Racecraft TV. Who do you have to thank? Who makes it all possible for you in the 58 team?
Yep, shout out you guys putting the broadcast on. Stoked to go back and watch it. And then everybody on Jim Beaver Esports, Fistful of Bourbon, Winners Get Whiskey. Congrats, Connor, on that. And then General Tire, Polaris Razor, Vision Wheels, Rigid Industries, and Next Level Racing.
Thank you once again for joining us here on Racecraft TV. That's Josh Edmondson, third place finish for him tonight. And Andrew, as we wrap things up, we are going to be racing in 1 week's time from the big house of Crandon, possibly the most hallowed ground when it comes to off-road racing in the United States, and we're going to be crowning a champion there in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, it's really cool. You guys are ending your season there. That's where we do it in real life. It's always got a lot of pressure coming in there, especially with the land rush. It's just there's something unsettling about it, but at the same time, it's one of the funnest tracks. It's a lot of high speed, a lot of big sweeping corners, and it should be great racing. You know, a lot of these guys coming in with some good confidence for Crandon. Josh sounds like he really knows he can win there. He's the only guy to win at the previous race in October that we had, and in Connor, you know, coming off this win, he's got some momentum on his side. They're both really close in points. I think they're all going to be tied, like he was saying. You know, that's what you dream of coming into the last couple races of the year, to be this tight and to come in and truly be who wins the last race can come away with the title. That's pretty cool. So these top 5 guys, you can throw a blanket over them all. They're all going to be good. And, you know, like we saw, the heat races, everyone was pretty well behaved. The LCQ got a little more rowdy. And then the final, it was our most interesting race of the night. There was a lot of carnage. Guys pushing hard, trying to run the fast laps and making a little mistakes here and there. So I think it's going to be a good contested fight at Crandon. It's going to be awesome to watch, and you guys are going to want to make sure you tune in December 1st for that race. That's going to be a great one.
We will have the land rush start. We will have the full story on the championship, and we will crown a champion in 2 weeks' time, December 1st, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. You can catch it right here on Racecraft TV. For Josh Edmondson at Virtual Off-Road Racing Series and Racecraft TV, and for my colleague in the booth, Andrew Carlson, my name is Joshua Lee. Thank you for joining us here from Virtual Bark River for round number 5 of the Virtual Off-Road Racing Series Pro 4 Championship. And we'll see you in 2 weeks' time when we crown our first Pro 4 champion from Virtual Crandon.